I, Anthony. I'm sitting down with my best friend, AJ. AJ, how is today for you?
It's a good day. It's a Tuesday, so start of the week. I have a slower week at work this week, so that's nice, but also not nice
That's
because the
always
days are
good.
longer. How are you doing?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I've had like the opposite going on at my job. So, I work in retail, and it's the holidays. So that means
Oh yeah.
everyone and their mother has decided to do a BOPIS order. Like, I need you to understand, okay? I left yesterday. It's a tiny tangent. We're gonna get to game and stuff. I left work yesterday. We had 100 orders like waiting to be picked up.
Yeah, that's a
Right?
lot.
We came in today to about 80 waiting to be picked for the rest of the day. Okay? So not only that, by the end of the day, obviously more orders are coming in. Not a lot of people are picking them up. We had like at one point we had like 200 orders just sitting there waiting
Yep.
patiently. Okay? And guess who had to organize all 200 of them in alphabetical order? I'll give you
I'm
one guess.
I'm gonna guess my friend here I'm talking to.
You already know. And like I did a great job. Obviously I did a great job, but it was very annoying. Anyway, that is all of the rant that I have.
Hey, I love it. I love it.
Yes. AJ, you have beat Spider-Man 2?
Yes, I have actually platinumed it.
Beat Spider-Man 2. You platinum. Okay, really?
Yeah.
Damn. Final thoughts. Is it still, what are we feeling? Give me a number first, then we can get into all the nitty-gritty details.
I'm gonna go back down because I remember last video I wanted to give it a 10 out of 10. I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it an
Okay.
8.5 out of 10. I can't go down to 8. I
Okay.
can't.
Okay. Okay.
And here's why. And heads up, no spoilers. Anthony hasn't played it. I know a
spoilers.
lot of you guys haven't played it. There's absolutely none here. So the content outside of the main story is a little lacking, and the only reason why I say that, it's perfectly fine for a game. Honestly, it really is. The only reason why it felt lacking is there's a lot less of it than Spider-Man 1.
Okay.
So it makes it feel lacking, even though it's not. I think it's just fine. If anything, I'm a big advocate for not adding a bunch of fluff in games anymore. I think we have way too much.
That's
But
how you get a Ubisoft game.
yeah, exactly. No, seriously, no kidding. I look at Assassin's Creed. I mean, the latest one's better, but like before that, I mean, it's been horrible. Anyways, so there's that. So it led to, once I beat this story, there wasn't a lot to do after. Like, there was some stuff to clean up, but as obviously you do some of it as you progress. And so
Yeah, kind of like the first game. Like it was almost mandatory that as the story went on, you cleaned up each kind of
Yeah.
individual section. So by the end, it was just little side stuff.
Yep, and that's the same thing here. Just the issue is there's less side stuff. So once you beat it, like, there's not a whole lot. There's a bit, but there's not a whole lot. And so it's one of those things where it's like, damn, I want to keep playing. I feel that to this day.
Yeah.
I want to keep playing, but I have nothing to do. There's no new game plus, so I guess I could restart the game, but I'm just gonna play.
There's no
something
new
else.
game plus.
Not yet. It's coming.
Not yet. Okay. I was
Yeah.
gonna say because didn't I want to say the original Spider-Man launched with a new game plus?
Nope,
Oh,
didn't launch.
no,
with
it didn't. They patched that in too. Okay.
Yep. Same thing with this. They're adding a
Never
day and night
mind.
cycle, and then one other thing. But yeah, so like they're adding the same. This is what they did with the first game. Now, with that being said, the story, it's really hard to compare because
Okay.
it's better and worse than the first game.
I was just gonna say because the first one was such a surprise, we didn't know what to expect,
Yep,
and
and
so it had that advantage.
here's another big advantage, but something I wish they did in the second game is it introduced so many characters. Well, of course it introduced characters because it's the first game. Every character is a new character, right? But we had
Right.
all these characters. We had the Sinister Six, all this stuff going on, multiple plot lines all coming together at the end. Super awesome. This game is a very focused story, which it's a really good one, but we have Craven and then we have Venom, and that's it. There is no other guy. There's nothing.
Okay,
I mean, like,
that's bittersweet.
don't get me wrong, we know like Lizard's in it, right? Like we saw that in the gameplay when they
Obviously,
first
yeah,
released.
yeah.
So like, like, yes, he's in it, but like I am not exaggerating when I'm saying like those are them and Harry are the only characters they added. That's it.
Okay. Well, okay, and then it's kind of tough to compare the first game because I feel like, and this is me guessing. I have no idea how accurate this is, but I feel like they were like, "Listen, we probably aren't going to get another Spider-Man game." Like that's probably what, like that's what it feels like when you play it because it's like we got to pull out all the stops.
Yep.
Right, that's why Taskmaster is in the first game, and that's why like it felt so crazy when you're just like, oh, I'm gonna do all the Taskmaster missions because why not? And then when Taskmaster pulls up and snatches you out the air, and now you got a mini boss fight in the middle of this game. It's like,
Out
what
of
is
nowhere.
happening?
Yeah.
Out of absolutely nowhere, you're just
So
swinging
badass.
by the Empire State Building, and next thing you know, you're in a mini boss fight, and it's like, okay, I guess we're doing that now. Then you like compare that to like all of the side stuff that like didn't really connect, but it kind of connected by the end, and like all the main plot points definitely wrapped up by the end of the first game. So I don't know. I wouldn't be personally mad at that. Obviously, I haven't played it, so that's a
Yeah.
grain of salt. That's an asterisk there. But I get them saying, okay, we did. I feel like the first Spider-Man game, like they did like a bonus stuff. If that makes sense, they did like, okay, we're gonna throw the kitchen sink in there. We're gonna make sure this is beautiful, this is polished, this is that. We got to give Mary Jane her spotlight. I don't know why, but we have to. And yes, so I get it. I can see why. But okay, so we're feeling 8.5 out of 10.
Yep, and then I like how you mentioned Mary Jane because they fleshed her gameplay out to the point where I almost want a Mary Jane game.
Oh gosh, don't give them DLC ideas. Don't
I said
it.
almost. So here's the thing, and I have no problem saying this because this isn't much. So in the first game, like you would get caught and it would be like, oh, mission failed, like you're done. Like
It's like original Metal Gear Solid.
yeah.
Original Splinter Cell. Yeah.
Yep. They got rid of that. So now you have you even have like a dodge. Like they'll shoot at you and you dodge. Yeah, like she has her taser, so like you'll literally sprint up, dodge out of the way, and just jam them with your taser, and you're like, okay, that's kind of badass.
That's interesting.
And then
that's interesting.
you get upgrades, so like you get like the web shooter, so you're literally walking and just shooting people and like webbing them against walls. Like they and there's a little more. I'm not but like they flesh, and then when like there's some stuff that happens in like the beginning of the last third of the game with MJ.
Yeah, okay.
And it feels like a horror game. Like you're playing an MJ mission, you're like, "Oh my gosh, like shit is going down." Like this is terrifying. They did her really
exciting.
well. And I am wonderfully impressed with that. They did a great job with that. Gameplay wise, 10 out of 10 game. Like it is a very fun game. The story's just a little too fun, and the story's good. It's still great. They just really focused it, and I wish they included a few extra characters. That's about it.
Okay. That's okay. So great game. Obviously game of the year contender because why wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
Obviously. Baldur's Gate 3 is still probably gonna win it because that game has captured the internet's imagination. But okay, and now next up we get to talk about not that fun stuff, AJ. We get to talk about AI. Specifically, what did Microsoft say about AI? Because I couldn't find the article or the video or anything, but what kind of could you paraphrase it for me pretty
So Microsoft released a tweet, and it was like essentially announcing and celebrating, of course, fluffing it up for marketing purposes.
Obviously.
Yeah. They were saying that they are now going to have their NPCs voiced by AI instead of human voice actors.
Okay.
Well, and so before I get into how I feel about this,
I was going to say, because I
reason,
know you're not the biggest fan.
yeah, no. Their main reasoning behind this is time. According to them, I think a lot of it is money. I think more of it is money, honestly, than time. I believe it does save time. In fact, it does. There's no way it doesn't. AI can make voice lines on the spot instantly. Like, I get it. But that's their main pull. So, with that being said, how do you feel about it, Anthony?
Oh, okay. Me and AI have a love and hate relationship because on one end of it, I think it's so cool. I think it's cool. Like, not to say that, like, obviously it's going to knock a lot of people out of certain markets. A lot of jobs are not going to exist the same way. Voice actors are already voicing their concerns for whoop-de-wop bam. And I get it. And it's true. And it's valid. However, it's really cool that just kind of to summarize, I'm excited, I'm stuttering. Just to kind of summarize how theoretically it has worked in the past. It takes vocal samples of a voice, doesn't even matter whose voice it is, and then it just replicates certain noises for certain words to do certain things, right? But obviously it's terrible because now you have voice actors that don't have jobs, right? Something like a Baldur's Gate 3, where every NPC is fully voiced and fully realized and like emotions. And I don't know if you've played Baldur's Gate 3, but yeah, no, listen, you will walk up to a random gnome, to a random goblin, and they'll have a whole dialogue tree that's fully voiced and fully acted, and it feels very grounded and real.
Yeah.
And I don't know if AI can do all of that the exact same way. However, right, because here's the biggest concern about AI, right? Mini tangent. AJ, why am I going on so many tangents today? Mini tangent. Everybody's scared that AI is going to replace the actual human element of whatever it's replacing, whether it's a painting, whether it's voice acting, whatever. The problem is it physically cannot. It can only mimic what exists, but it cannot create something new, right? Like there's a lot of AI pictures of sports figures, and like it'll try to replicate the Getty's image logo, but it can't quite figure out what it is.
Yeah.
Right. So like it's taking these samples and it's mimicking what it sees, but in order to create something original, like fully from scratch, it would need to basically be a quantum computer, and we're like 50 years out from that probably.
So here's my thing with that. Pardon the voice crack.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
There is already so many voice lines out there that these companies own. Because think about it, they've given their voice for a game. Well, the company now owns that voice line because it's in their game.
Yes.
So they can use those voice lines to train AI. So in that scope, think about all the different characters and voices that Microsoft now owning Activision Blizzard and all these other studios.
Oh, yep.
How many voices they own, that doesn't matter to them. They have more than enough to sample for an AI. So right then and there, Microsoft really has no reason to hire voice actors anymore. And really, what's really cool, what's really wholesome, honestly, to see is a lot of the voice actors that spoke out against this were complaining for the little guy. They were like, everyone's, for the most part, their intro into voice acting, especially in the video game scene, is like side NPCs, not main characters, right? Of course, right? And that's the first thing to go, right? That's AI's taking those first because that's the easiest. And so a lot of them are like, I don't know how I would get my start today if I didn't have those NPC roles back then. And now those people don't have that.
Yeah. Yes, and then here, just to take a tiny step back, because if I'm Microsoft and I see that everybody's going crazy about AI, here's something interesting. Because I remember Troy Baker, like it was either a year or 2 years ago, whatever. Troy Baker got in trouble when the whole NFT thing was like everybody had an NFT, and Troy Baker released that he was partnering with some company. Don't remember, doesn't matter. That he was kind of selling like voice lines as NFTs for like smaller game developers. So if you wanted a Troy Baker for his talent, but you can't afford a Troy Baker, you can get something that sounds like a Troy Baker. So if I'm Microsoft and I see what people are doing with NFTs, I'm seeing what AI is capable of doing, and I'm Microsoft, I could just say, okay, well, we're going to make this software that mimics voice A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way down into infinity.
Yep.
And we can generate voices. Now, obviously, you would probably have to, if I were these actors whose voices was being sampled, I would probably work out some type of perpetual residual thing. But that's just me. That's just me.
Yeah.
Just me.
Essentially, a way to get commission off of using my voice as a reference.
1000%, because otherwise it doesn't make sense. It happens in every other industry. I don't know what the residuals are in video games and voice acting because everyone is secretive.
It's got to be horrible. It's got to be horrible.
No, it's not great. It's for sure not great.
Like, you're not acting in a movie or a TV show. Actors, like, what do they call it? Motion cap actors, like, don't get paid nearly as much as regular actors. I mean,
no, which is weird because it's the same work. Anyway, different tangent. It's a gaming podcast, AJ. Eat the politics yourself. But yeah, no. It's bad, and I hate it. And I wish companies... I want to trust Microsoft to do the right thing. I just know that's not how any of this works. I know that there isn't a reality where it's like, hey, can eliminate an entire industry of people effectively. We can eliminate the smaller voice actor. pretty much in about a year. Because if Microsoft announced it today, that means they have something that they feel comfortable using today, and it's the worst it'll ever be, and it's only going to get better in a year. That is my dryer in the background. My dryer sings when clothes are ready, AJ. I'm living good over here. And yeah, no, it sucks, but I hope that somewhere Microsoft is going to be like, you know what? Maybe we don't need to do it the same way. And maybe it's not, maybe it doesn't even work how they describe it. Maybe they're just really bad at explaining how this actually works, and it actually makes game development a lot easier. We get a lot bigger games for like a lot quicker, maybe a little bit less expensive, so that video games don't cost, I don't know, 200 million to make, however much The Last of Us cost. Doesn't matter. I hope that that's what happens. I just know in my soul that it probably doesn't happen that way.
No, I would rather see them cast like the people making the game, like the ones that are like passionate, have them do tryouts within, and have those people you're already paying do voice lines. Like I would much rather see that than just getting rid of it altogether. Because I like the finals, right? The upcoming multiplayer game. Just had the beta, right?
That's amazing. We played it.
Super fun. We'll talk about it here in a second. They used only AI except for the grunts. Every voice line in that game is AI, and I didn't know that until after. And I didn't think twice about it during. Obviously, I didn't know. So, with that being said, we're already at a point where it's hard to tell. Now, I'm sure if it's like, granted, it was an announcer, so that's a lot easier to replicate.
Way easier.
Yeah, when we get to like our God of War is The Last of Us, and we're having emotional scenes, and we have to really pull some acting out of people, I think that's where we're going to start to lose AI. But again, what's AI going to look like in 5 years from now? Like we're already at a point where we can replace some people and it be seamless. You don't know it. So in 5 years, who's to say that AI can't just replace the main voice actors?
I don't think that'll happen. At least not in 5 years. We're at least a decade, so relax.
Okay, fair.
We're at least a decade.
Here's the thing, though.
5 years?
5 years ago, would you have said in 5 years that AI could take over NPC voice lines? When we didn't even have AI yet.
In 5 years?
5 years ago was 2018. That's when Spiderman 1 came out. ChatGPT wasn't really a thing yet.
ChatGPT was not a thing yet. I will say that AI type software had been like experimented with, and like people had taken like, you know, like obviously Joe Rogan, there are hours of his voice just online. People have made little robots that, you know, have his voice. Like
you see the president playing game videos all the time. Those are great.
Yeah, see the president. Yeah, hearing the president do whatever. That wouldn't have been my guess. However, it wouldn't have surprised me.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been like, oh yeah, for sure. However, like if someone was like, hey, like it's probably gonna be that way, I could see it.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Then I guess I'll change what I said. I could see it in 5 years being taken over. At least for not God of War, not those big ones, but like those AA games and like, you know, the non-blockbuster games, I could see it.
For sure. And then again, let's kind of switch gears to the finals really quick, because that's that is a AA experience that does not feel like a AA experience. It's a free game, first of all. Let's start there.
This game is going to take off.
And so it's funny because I texted you and I was like, listen, hey, I'm like 11 levels in and I can't stop playing. I was like, we have to play this now.
Yep.
And I told you, I said that it's going to be a Fortnite killer. You don't see it, and that's fine because I get excited about things. I might be exaggerating. But
I think it's going to take a market share. Really quick, before I get into that, for those of you who don't know, the finals is an upcoming multiplayer game, and there's 2 different game modes, at least as of the time of the beta. And it's either 3 teams of 3 or 4 teams of 3 going against each other for essentially to get the most money. And so how you do that is you go either get kills or you go to like a payload or something and have to go cash it in and whatever. And so either you hit the threshold of money or end of the timer, and whoever has the most wins, right? And so... And it's also a little bit more like a Team Fortress kind of like role based. There's 3 different roles.
Yeah,
light, medium,
it's
heavy,
like
things like that. So
It's like if Tetris and Left 4 Dead had a baby.
I would throw in Battlefield into that mix just because there is a heavy emphasis on destroying everything can be almost everything can be destroyed, and there's a
A lot can
heavy
be destroyed.
emphasis on that.
And so, and if you hear that and you think Levolution from the Battlefield games, the studio that founded this actually are two Battlefield vets. They were at
Oh wow,
EA for a lot of the Battlefield stuff, a lot
I
of the
didn't know that.
Levolution stuff. Yeah, no, me neither. I didn't figure that out until much later. But yes, it feels great, looks great.
So with that explanation out of the way, here's why I don't think it'll be a Fortnite killer, is
Okay.
because it's not a true battle royale, and while it is multiple squads going against each other in a central location, you do respawn. Well, it is a long respawn. It's like what 20 seconds. Like it's a good. You don't
Like
want to die.
30, depending.
Yeah, it might be. It's good. You can revive your teammates, but it's a good chunk of time.
It's a
And
lot. It's a long time.
it's a lot more sweaty and a lot more like it's first person and a lot more gritty and more intense. And while I don't think it's gonna be rated M because there's no blood. Like you just
Oh, boy.
essentially bleed coins. Like when you die, you turn into coins. So like there's no gore. So I think it should be teen. So I do think it will take some of the market share, but it's not a battle royale. And I think that's where it won't necessarily be a Fortnite killer, but I think it will take some of those people. I think really it's going to hurt more games like Siege, CS:GO, those
Yeah.
kind, because it's
Mhm.
really this game's going to be so sweaty. It's a really competitive,
Oh, yeah.
tight game.
And like the problem is it's fun. Like the problem is it's so
I miss it.
fun.
Yeah.
And thank you, me too. I was pissed because I was like, I snuck in a game on Sunday, and I was just like, ah, that's the last for a while. It's supposed to come out later this year. I don't think they've announced any dates as of us recording this. However, it's so fun. Like our first game, right? Literally our first game. Well, it's the payload thing. So we're trying to protect this thing, right? Mind you, you got to take these payloads to some type of ATM basically, and sometimes they're on top of buildings, sometimes they're in a random apartment, sometimes they're on the side, like just in the park somewhere, right? And we take it to this building, and literally we get there, and two sides of this building just have holes blown in them, and so now there is no cover anywhere. Literally, we just got there and things exploded.
Yep.
And by the end of it, I want to say the entire building just collapsed.
That sounds about right. I mean, honestly, like I feel good, especially when you're on the payload, it's in a building. Like it's honestly a strat to blow up the building, have the payload drop, and like shoot down on people and take over. I mean, it's third
Now you have
party.
9 people. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. Third partying in this game is massive because it takes forever to cap stuff. So you have one person capping, that other team that comes in and starts tearing down the building, and the third team comes in and just takes it. I mean, it's going to be a lot of third partying. I wonder how that meta is going to work once it's fully released and people have figured out the like true strat. Because if third partying is the strat, which to me it seems like it's the no brainer strat.
Yeah,
What?
it's definitely emphasized.
How is ranked going to look? Like quick plays always got people rushing to it. How is ranked going to look if everyone's just sitting and waiting? Because there's no storm, but there's a timer. Like game ends when the timer hits. It doesn't matter if anyone
Right.
gets anything.
So here's the thing. I would guess that that's where a lot of teams would go. And then even if it's not teams, just like, oh, TMS Snapdragon playing the finals. Like, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a thing of like, you're going to have 3 streamers who are already best friends. Kind of like
Yeah.
you and I. We're just like, yeah, let's just hop in the same lobby. Cool. We're going to grind on these servers, do what we got to do. There's definitely going to be plays. There's definitely going to be, hey, left hand, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be a bunch of plays, a lot of quick calling. And first of all, it's fun to watch. Let's start there. And
Yeah.
second of all, it's fun to play. Like I told you, literally before we started playing, like random at like 10 o'clock in the morning, I was like, hey, listen, this game has a weird way of making you feel badass when nothing is going on.
Yeah, oh, you're absolutely
Like-
right. I mean, you'll just be blowing shit up, and you're like, I'm this badass, but you're doing nothing. I mean, you're like,
So you
could
are literally
you could be hurting yourself. You could be hurting. You could be put yourself at a disadvantage because you blew your cover or whatever, and you're like, I feel like a badass. Like I'm that guy.
it just feels so cool. And
Yeah.
then like if I had to describe what the gameplay feels like it's like Titanfall with no mechs almost.
Okay, I could see that.
Right? It's like okay.
No, I was going to agree with you. So go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna say because like I was gonna say it's like a twitchy Call of Duty because everything is very precise. Like it's
Hmm.
not twitchy in the sense of like it's luck, kind of like how like Call of Duty can be, but
Hmm.
it's twitchy in the sense of everything is always moving forever.
Yeah, absolutely. No one's like, and it, especially in this game, on top of any other game, battle royales, like shooters, like multiplayer shooters,
Mhm.
battle royales, Call of Duty, Battlefield, all that, like there is zero camping in this game. Like you can't, you will
Can't.
lose, you will lose. I mean, like the most camping you could do is again waiting to third party, where you're just kind of waiting for that second team to attack to then come in. But like at that point, it's not camping. You're just strategically waiting.
Yeah. Like you could wait at the ATM where you got to take the payload, but the problem is everyone can see where the payload is at any given point.
Yeah.
So so like you know that there is a target on your back, which incentivizes you to either get rid of it because you can just literally throw it across the map. You just chuck it,
Hmm.
and
Yep.
just at will, which I've done a couple times. It's really good strat. Or you could just run really fast and take it to the destination and hope your team meets you there, and that is the game.
Yeah. I'm just so excited for it to come out. I am nervous to see the sweats because
Mhm.
I think this game is going to be really sweaty. I
Of course.
really hope there's better options for if you don't have a squad of three. Like there was like what we played like 5, 6 games, and like half to
Oh
most of
yeah.
them, it was just the two of us because no one else joined. Or if someone left, it doesn't
Mhm.
replace them. Which I get. It's not fun being thrown in the middle of a game, but I like how Overwatch does this. Like Overwatch, they'll throw you in the middle of a game if someone leaves, and if it's towards like the last bit of the game, they put you in a priority queue for the next
Ooh.
game, and you get like you're bumped to the top of the line, and you're for sure getting in the beginning of the game. I'd be fine if they did something like that just to fill spots because that sucked when it was just
Yeah.
us two and just like, well, damn, we're hosed now. And it's not like a battle royale where
Yeah, it definitely feels like that.
and it's not like a battle royale where it's like, oh, we're hosed, but it's fine because we die, we just load into a new one. No, like you're we die, you're still in the game. Like you're now stuck in this game where you
Mhm.
like you are now at a constant disadvantage, and that part kind of sucks. So it's something I hope they work on. I also hope they give some sort of duos and maybe squads, like kind of how Fortnite
Ooh.
has whatchamacallit, like
I
him
could
Apex
honestly
those.
see. Oh yeah, Apex, Warzone. I could
Yep.
honestly see like if you do like duo battle royale, like 10 squads of 20 people, like that in that game where literally nowhere is safe. That
Yeah,
could
no,
be
I
fun.
I think duos would work great. Add two more teams, maybe three. I think that would work fantastically. I so yeah, and then again fours. I think if you leave three teams of four, it'll be fine. It'll be a little more hectic, of course, but I think it'd work out fine. And it'd be nice to have that option because three is just it works, but it's an odd group.
It is an odd group. And so here's the thing. And so a quick little breakdown on how classes work in this game. Because classes are broken down from light, medium, heavy. That's just the build of your character. You can make them look however you want. When you buy one article of clothing for one of your builds, it counts for all three. There's no kind of multi-level marketing there. But all three of them play different, and the light is the best one.
Yes, light. Well, so how it works is like the smallest, the light guy is more of your DPS, medium all around medic, and then your heavy is your tank, right? And so the light guy has the least amount of health, medium tank, the heavy has a lot of health, right? And the speeds also
A lot
affect.
of
So
health.
your light guy has very high speed. Like you're moving fucking fast, and your heavy guy is moving really slow. Which I'm curious to see how that dynamic works when you have like a proper team, right? Like you and I were
Hmm.
kind of trying to figure it out, get a feel of it, and we didn't have a full team of three, so we weren't really working together as a team. I mean, I
Yeah.
tried to stay near
Yeah.
you, but like, and I'm sure you did the same, but like, it wasn't like a proper team of three, right? And
No.
so, and especially like the MP, there are random could have been doing his own thing or following us. We were following him, whatever. Like, I
For
mean,
sure,
it
yeah, no,
was
yeah, definitely doing their own thing like half the time. But like a lot of times our goals came to the same point. So
But so what I want to see though is how having like a tank and like if you had like a tank, a medic, and a light person, probably how you're supposed to do a team, right? If you have those three, how moving as a unit works, because like I can see a lot of like light people just running off and the tanks slowing everyone down. You know, I wonder how that's gonna
kind
work.
of. So okay, as someone who has played an uncomfortable amount of this beta, um, it works better when everybody's balanced. Like I've played
Yeah.
a couple where it's like two fast, one medium, two heavies, and I'll be the light guy. I've played those, and the interesting thing is, it never feels like anybody's slowing anybody down or anybody's like pacing too far ahead.
Okay.
Because even though you move slower, you move faster, whatever the case is, it's not that much. Like obviously in the gameplay, like it matters, but it doesn't feel too bad. Now, when I did find a team that did move as a unit and did properly, like okay, cool, light, medium, heavy, and we had this chemistry and it worked. It was very fun and interesting. I mean, the whole game
Okay.
is fun. When the
Yeah.
finals comes out, y'all need to get it. They didn't sponsor us. Maybe we need to work on that. But yes, play it because you'll have a good time.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, when it's balanced like that, it's interesting because you got the medium guy playing like super supports, healing everybody, got the defibrillator, resing everybody, everybody's doing good. You got the heavy kind of coming in and like just knocking down walls. Like that's it.
And the heavy, there like the heavy's gun is more long range. I mean,
Yeah.
and then you get like the medium's gun is like an assault rifle, like an AR, right? And then the light has like a submachine gun. So like there was times where as the light I couldn't do much if I was at range, and then when I was heavy,
Right.
like it was stressful being in buildings because up close this light machine gun's like not as well, doesn't work as well as like their sub that they're ripping me through.
Yeah. Which is yeah, no, it's an interesting dynamic because like all of the like every time I played light, like my whole job was like, okay, just search and destroy. By the way, the light has a sword and a knife, and the sword, dog, I got that sword. Let me tell you something. I got like 4 kills my first game. It was oh.
Dude, that
Because
sword is ridiculous. It killed me almost every time. There was a guy with the
yeah,
sword.
no, like 3 hits, it's a wrap. 3 hits. Yeah, it didn't work that way for heavies, but like for like mediums and lights, like nah, it's a wrap, dog. Yeah, no, and like I would get like 3 or 4 kills and like something really heated, die, and then come back, and again, 30-second spawn time, so it feels like there's more downtime than it really is.
Yeah.
And then like each game was like 20 minutes, something like that,
I think that's how long
like
the timer
16 to
was.
20.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it'll pop out, be like halftime, and it'll be like 9 minutes or whatever left. But yeah, no. So it's a long time. You're playing this game for like a long time. It's a
Yeah,
long
it's
commitment when
commitment.
compared to something like a Fortnite or a Call of Duty, where like it feels like every 55 seconds you're in a different lobby.
Yeah, no kidding. Like it's probably one of the most commitment heavy multiplayer games that I've played that I've been interested in. Now, of course, like you have
Yeah,
like League that lasts way longer.
playing for a day straight if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, like even Overwatch competitive lasts long because you have both sides have to do the same thing, and if you
Mhm.
draw, you're going into almost 4 games at that point. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot, and so that's another thing is I wonder how the competitive scene is going to look on this. Like, are they going to change up the gameplay at all? Like, is it kind of like how Overwatch does, where like there's longer times? Do they extend the time at all? Do they increase the cap on how much money you can earn? Do they put more points down, or is everything the same? I'm curious. I'm sure it's going to be the
So what's
same,
funny is
but
there is like it's not called rank, but there is like a tournament mode. There's like a more serious mode, and it's very fascinating because I know that you may not have noticed it playing like with me just in the lobby because you get infinite what's called respawn tokens,
yep.
right? But in the tournament you only get 2,
Okay.
right? So what's interesting about that though is you get unlimited revives. Obviously, if somebody on your team is down, then they'll come and get you, bring you back to the game, whatever. The
Yeah.
problem is everybody only gets these 2 tokens, so it like encourages you to like play not only as a unit but to play smarter and not just go and do the crazy stuff. Versus me, like I was jumping in like fire and doing all type of bold stuff that won us several games, by the way. But yeah. It's interesting because it just gives you a resource that isn't unlimited, and it
Yeah.
just makes you say, okay, like Just play smarter.
Exactly. I think that's a great idea.
And they're doing it. Isn't that grand?
They're they're doing so many things right, and here's really my main question with it.
Okay.
What what are they going to do to innovate it? You know, because it's not like other games where it's like Heroes, even like Apex, where it's like, you know, generally it's the same thing because it's the everyone has the same guns to loot pool to pick from, but everyone has
Mhm.
unique abilities. And this, like, there's light, medium, and heavy. That's literally what they're named. They're not a character name. So
Mm-mm.
what? I mean, yeah, they can add guns, but to a certain degree, you can only add so many guns before you either A, have to start adding ridiculous guns, like, you know, like energy guns, shoot lightning and shit, or like
That could be.
you're gonna grow stale because the guns are gonna, like, they're not gonna feel too different. So what?
Well,
And they
here's
already
the
have a good selection of just all the generic gun types. So like, what can they
so many
do to
gun types.
innovate? That's what I'm really curious about.
What's interesting is it. I think the guns are just there for like your preference. Because here's the thing: the game gives you a lot of freedom in the sense of like, what do I want my loadout to be, right? Because you only get like two, like you get your main loadout and you get an alternate.
Yep.
That's it. So like for a long time, like after I got that sword, again, the sword is great. After I got that sword, it was just like not the same submachine gun, but it was like a different submachine gun and my sword. So it's like, okay, they are shooting a lot right here. I'm not gonna be able to get in with my sword, but I can kind of come in, pick some stuff off. I got a breach charge. I'm gonna blow this wall out. I'm gonna come in, like let the dust settle, do something crazy. And so that's what worked for me. However, there's also a rifle, a semi-automatic rifle that shoots like a pistol. I thought that the reset on that was gonna be crazier. No, it is just like a pistol. You just pop, 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 and it is very, very fast. And yeah, no, but then same with the heavy. There's a sledgehammer. There's a flamethrower. There's like that light machine gun you had, and then like there, it's so custom that I feel that they'll probably figure out. Like, I don't think the medium has like a real shotgun. I don't think any of the classes have like a real shotgun. It could add in a shotgun, and that would change the whole dynamic of the game, right?
I think there is someone that's a shotgun that you say. I think it's the light. I think
The
they
light
just
does
sawed
have like
off.
a little sawed off, and
Yeah,
it's two shots, and it's terrible unless you go invisible, which of course the light can become invisible.
of
And
course.
oh, also each different I don't even know what you want to call it, classes, weights, doesn't matter. Each of these three different kind of players have these very different abilities. So like the medium has a lot of like support things, like there's the health gun, there's just a bunch of turrets, things like that for support. Heavy, you get this weird rage ability. I forget what all the abilities were because with limited beta and we have lives. The light, all of their special abilities were focused on movement, so the light could move like crazy. um and so yeah, and so then that's another level of like, how do you want to play? Do you want to zip around the map? Do you want to like eat bullets and just spray everything with fire? Like it's very customizable.
Yeah, I I agree. And so what I think they're gonna do, obviously they're gonna add tons of cosmetics. They already have quite a few in
Of
there.
course. Oh yeah,
I think what they're
and
gonna
we look
do.
badass by the way.
Oh yeah, I think what they're gonna do beside we look like main characters. What they're gonna do besides cosmetics is guns, and what I really hope they do for the most part is support stuff, like you were talking about, like the
Yeah.
healing ray thing they have. You know, they have some of the melee weapons, but I hope they don't go overboard on melee weapons.
Yeah.
We could add, you know, some more. I know they have a grenade launcher. We could add like a rocket launcher. They might have
Mhm.
that already. I can't
Yeah,
look
they
anymore.
do,
It's
but
not
it's a
available.
very specific thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I just hope they add, I guess, more support like things, and I'm not just saying to the medium class, like add support things to you, like, you know, give like
Hmm.
ammo packs you can drop. I get, you know, as
Ooh,
like
yeah. That's
the
good. That's
heavier,
good.
so you know,
That's
just
a heavy.
like
Yeah.
just some kind of stuff like that. It'd be really cool if they honestly if they did push support stuff for each class, so that way, because it feels like really the medium is the support, right? Like they have
Yeah.
everything to do with support, and heavy is more about, you know, taking hits, and light's about dealing damage, and like that's how they should
One
say, don't get
thousand.
me wrong, but like, okay, have the light then support everyone by like giving them what the light has, you know, whatever, like whether
Hmm.
that's like it,
Like a
it,
speed boost
yeah, or
or
he could drop explosive rounds, so your next mag is explosive
yeah.
rounds, you know, like stuff like that to help everyone else, and again, like the medics healing everyone. the stuff like that. So I hope that they do that. That'd be really cool. I don't know. I don't know how they can innovate with how they have it set up, but I'm sure they will. They're not just gonna let it die.
So yes, but also if they had traversal options for all of the classes, not just the light, I feel like the game would be a lot more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. That grappling hook's crazy. Absolutely love it. I still need to get better at it because you go fast. Like you launch.
Yeah, no,
and
you
move.
fly, dog.
So it's great for getting away. Like it's
Getting
amazing.
away.
Even approaching.
Yeah, approaching exactly. It's great. I've used it so many times when I'm holding the payload and like my team gets ambushed because literally nowhere is safe. So I just zip up away like Spiderman, and if I'm like, oh man, I'm not gonna make it, I'll just chuck it to like a general direction that I'm heading.
Yeah.
And then I'll like try to meet it. And there was one time in particular. Literally, I'm running through like some kind of villa or whatever, and the payload was like in a park, and there's like, I don't know if you ever like actually saw it, but there's a little archway that like goes under like some bushes or whatever,
okay,
and into the park. And so I'm running, and everything's behind me. I hear everything exploding, and so I threw it over this little archway because I was like, I don't need them to know it's on me. Go under it. It bounces in front of me, catch it, get the payload. I think I ended up winning that match. But yeah, no, it's just little moments like that where it was just like, was like, wait a minute, I can use the rule set to outsmart my competitors, but it would be more fun if the medium had a jetpack that it could take advantage of. If the heavy could like jump up and jump through like floors and shit, that would be cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, that'd be super cool. Or like the medic can drop like a trampoline or something that everyone could jump on, because that's like,
yeah, like a jump pad. I think they actually can drop jump pads, even though it's like very specific and gotta really know what you're doing with it. Okay. But that's with anything else.
Yeah. Also, so a little off topic here, but I want to talk about it because I'm thinking about it. Grappling hooks in games, right? This is something I've wanted so bad ever since I played Just Cause 2 back in the PS3.
Of course.
You know how
I had it on 360. Let's keep going.
You know how in that game, like the grappling hook, you use it and you just zip right to the
go,
button, right? Yeah, it kind of works the same as the finals. I really want a game to have a grappling hook that can work both like that and like a Spiderman kind of thing. Okay. So I want it to where like I press R1 or whatever the fuck the button is. So R1 attached to a wall. If I let go right away, or just whenever I let go, it reels in. But as long as I'm holding it, it stays in place and I can swing. And then I can release it and launch it to another spot, right? I think that would be super fun. Or I could just like, or I could just release it.
I feel like,
and I zip in.
In my heart, I want to say there's a game that is that. In my heart, I know that it probably doesn't exist the same way, but that would be fun if it worked that way in the finals.
That'd be awesome. I would love that. I was thinking about that while we were playing, actually. Like, I would absolutely love that. I don't think it's gonna happen, but that'd be so cool to either.
Definitely not.
And like, you'd be able to throw people off so much. You use a grappling hook, you don't know whether they're going up or they're swinging out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's another layer of just the advantage. I'm trying to think of like another good grappling hook like Just Cause 2, because Just Cause 2 is like the pinnacle of 360 PS3 games. That's like, it doesn't get a whole lot better than that.
No. Oh, that game was revolutionary at the time too, because, and we're getting really off topic now, but
hell yeah,
they had the biggest map at the time too, by like far. Like they had the world record for the biggest map, and it was pretty well spotted with shit to do, which is crazy because you look at games nowadays and the maps are just as big as that one is. You know, no different. Except, in fact, even worse, because now we've had more time and games can make that big of a map no problem now. Now they're less interesting, which is really interesting.
I'm trying to, because in the Just Cause 2 thing, your motivation was like to even go to different points in the map was just like, hey, the government's doing something over here, blow it up. That was the whole motivation. Yeah,
like it literally just go cause chaos. It's phenomenal.
It was so fun, and then like you could like get your different factions. Not enough games have faction systems. I'm only a little mad about it.
Yep.
But the factions and the way that like they would come in and they're like, hey, you've blown up enough of these outposts. We feel comfortable. unlocking this region, and now you can do whatever you want here.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's fun. And then like, yeah, like you were saying, oh man, now we're going down a real nostalgia trip. Because I remember the first time like you get dropped into the map and it's like, okay, cool. And like obviously there's a forest, there's a desert, the mountaintops are very snowy, it's very diverse. And I remember like going into like a city for the first time, and I was like, this isn't Grand Theft Auto 4 great, but it's a pretty well realized, like I feel like that's a hospital. I can see like people are walking, trying to get to work or wherever they're going. People are driving in cars, and like, man, now I want to play Just Cause 2 because Just Cause 3 is not as good as Just Cause 2, and it hurts my heart to say that.
Ooh.
Oh, is that a hot take? That's not a hot take. That is not a hot take. Is that a hot take?
I can't decide. Here's why. The map and I mean the story isn't all Just Cause. That's not why you play Just Cause, it's for the story, but the map,
absolutely not.
The story, the locations, everything is more fun in 2.
Okay.
But 3 has the wingsuit.
He does have the wingsuit, and you also get like a lightning gun. You get a storm gun that can just make a storm on command, and you get a bunch of stuff that nobody really asked for, but everybody thought would be really cool.
Because it's just because it's awesome. Like, why not? So, the wingsuit, though, like, it adds so much to the gameplay because you partner it with the grappling hook.
Yeah, and it's Spider-Man, basically.
Yeah, I think that's what made it more fun to me, but I think just because 2 is a better game, if that makes sense.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, traversal and see, that's how they got us, because they were like, we fixed the traversal because now you don't have to float for a day and a half on a parachute to get anywhere, right? And even though grappling hook was great, and the upgrades with the grappling hook were also very great. I still remember the Mile High Club mission.
Oh yeah, and again, they had more points of interest in 2, like the Mile High Club, the city. They had the Lost Island. They had the casino.
The Lost Island.
They had just so much cool stuff. The racetrack, like the airport terminal. Like they had so many cool locations that.
They used all of them very well.
Wonderfully. And then you go to 3 and every location looks the same. Like, it literally, there isn't one area that feels different from another. Like, in Just Cause 2, you had the desert, the forest, the mountains, the city, like, a few different island chains. And then you go to
and then like how it would shift from like the desert, and then like you like drop and go to a different mission on the other side of the map, and now you're in like, it looks like Jamaica.
Yes.
In
3 it all looked like impoverished Italy. Like that's really like the whole game was. There was no cool map. They just made a fun game, which it was a fun game, but. And I think that's what killed 4, is they just repeated it for 4. They have a bit better of a map.
I don't know why they made it Just Cause 4. Can we talk about that? Can we talk about that very briefly? Because I know we're coming
so sad. We are. We're gonna have to push Alan Wake 2 off till next week, which is fine.
It's okay.
So sad because Just Cause is such a cool franchise. It's so fun, and it's just such a unique spin on sandboxes, but they're not doing anything with it. Like 3 and 4 are virtually the same game with a different map. I mean, yes, there are some stuff. They have pretty much a jetpack now, but like
nobody asked for it. So here's the thing: Just Cause 2 is just what we wanted Mercenaries 2 to be.
I loved Mercenaries 2. That game is fantastic, though. I
listen.
agree.
It's not a bad game. However, Mercenaries 1 was the better game.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think I just really like 2 for the fact that like you could call in like airstrikes. Everything was just like was able to be destroyed again. Like I loved the whole concept of the game. I thought it was more fun to be a mercenary than like Rico was. Just like
Rico's like a secret agent that like is looking for these points of interest, and we're you gotta use these different factions to get intel about the government, and then you gotta kill the government officials.
The story I think was stronger in Mercenaries 2, but Just Cause 2 is more fun.
Listen, that introductory mission where like you're figuring out how the grappling hook works, and you jump off a casino, and now you jump onto a car that drives itself magically, and you like are stapling police cars to these like just bridge poles, and everything's exploding, and everything's flying away, and you're just like, I can pull my parachute cord at any time. Why is that a thing I can do? Like
a reusable parachute. Like why not? I love it.
Like, why not? And
I
then
love it.
like, yeah, no, and then like again, the Mile High Club mission where it's like you gotta blow the Mile High Club up. And it's like, why? And then the craziest part is after you blow it up, it's still there. You can still go there in the
Yeah.
game. You can still go there. It's like, oh, it's destroyed. You destroyed my club. It's like, no, I didn't. It's still floating in the sky.
And I loved when I first found out about it, wasn't from the story, like I was just like doing some shit, like below where it was, and all of a sudden I hear like and I'm like,
You just
what's
look
going
up
on?
and
I
there's
look up
just
and there,
two blimp
yeah.
holding a platform of strippers, and it's like, excuse me?
Oh no, not just a platform. It's a cruise ship. Like how cool is that?
Yeah, no, it's a floating cruise. I forgot that it was a floating cruise
And-
ship. Don't even get me started. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm pretty sure it's all right. It's all right. The blimps, I'm pretty sure, were also supposed to look like tits. I'm almost 100% positive.
1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%. That was not an accident. And then like, don't even like the island, the lost island where everyone thinks is World War II, and like you
Yes.
go there and they're just
It strikes your plane down.
It shoots your plane. Oh my gosh! And then you got to figure out how you're gonna get off this island. 'Cause you don't have a plane.
You've nothing now.
And again, that's not even a mission. That's just something you can do.
For fun. And you never see stuff like that in gaming anymore, really. I feel like there's no like, yes, you'll see Easter eggs, right? But it'll be like, oh, like Apex, like here's the dinosaur that like is big with our community, right? And so like you can find it here and there, whatever. But like that's not a fun Easter egg. Going to a random uncharted planet that the rest of the game has nothing else to do with. You go there and your plane gets struck down. Now you're survival of the fittest. That's amazing. Like that's
Now you
such
just gotta
a cool way.
fight these crazy people who think it's World War II still.
Such a cool way to do that.
Oh man,
with
AJ,
with that tangent out of the way.
This costs two. With that tangent out of the way, the finals is great. Play it.
Yep, please. Whenever it comes out, whenever that is, I looked it up. It says they're hoping late 2023, but it's already late 2023, so I doubt it.
I mean, I believe it because the game is like basically done. Like it's uncomfortably polished.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not released. I think it's just fine. I don't know why there's a release date.
One quick thing. Here's the last little button on the finals. I had access to a game mode that I just didn't play because I was like, I don't want to. But it was just like, hey, you've unlocked a new game mode. Yeah. Try it out. And I was like, no. So if I had to guess, there's probably at least one other game mode that's like, okay, maybe it's not just confirmed kill and payload. Maybe there's a battle royale. We won't know until the game comes out, whenever that is. But yeah, no. AJ, we're hitting our time here, my guy.
We are.
And we'll be back next week, party people. Like, comment, subscribe. Share this with your friends if you just listen. Do your friends listen to podcasts? Do they need a podcast to listen to while they study or like eat squirrel nuts or something? Okay? Like, do they just need something to listen to? Because we're here, okay? Share this with your people, okay?
We're here every week, every Monday.
Every Monday.
Every Monday we're here. We're here to brighten your guys' days, brighten your weeks. Yes,
and also
please.
talking about Just Cause Stu, because this is a Just Cause Stu Stan account.
Absolutely. If you are listening, yes, please do show us to your friends. We would love to get the word out there. I personally, and I'm sure Anthony, you feel the same way, I'm all about helping the gaming community and spreading love and information, and so that's really what I'm here to do. That's why we're here. And so we love doing this for you guys and look forward to doing more.
My ultimate goal, AJ, this is really quick off script before you go. Yeah. My ultimate goal is for both of us to interview Alana Pierce, just because it's Alana Pierce. And you're laughing. I'm dead serious.
Hey, whoa, let's bring her on. I'm fine with it. Let's do it.
Listen, Alana, hey, how you doing? Been a fan since you were at IGN, like since you started at IGN. Been a fan. Yeah, AJ and I would like to interview you. Maybe. I don't even know if you are ever going to see this, but maybe we can make it happen. Who knows? Here every Monday. Like, comment, subscribe. Love you, gamer fam. AJ, anything you want to tell the people?
Love my mediocre gamer family. Can't wait to grow it.
Bye.
Adios.